Hey guys, it's Dave from Team Collection coming to you with another video. I will be doing September 2013 budget decks. Now, I know it's a little too late, it's almost December, and the ban list comes out Friday. But for this format and with the new region and with the Anaheim regionals coming up, because I am in SoCal, the Anaheim regionals coming up, these are decks you can run, in my opinion, that you will not spend a lot of money on. Now, extra deck is a different story, but if you want to run, some of these decks don't even need an extra deck. Some of these decks you can just run like a janky little extra deck, and it will still work really well. So let's get started. Heraldic Beast is the first deck. These aren't in any order. So Heraldic Beasts are one deck. It's incredibly cheap, super sacky, and they're only going to get better. Um, Frog Monarchs, always a good deck in any format. Stable, consistent, all that stuff. Ghost Tricks, they might get expensive next set, but right now they're not expensive. Alucard's like $10, and Lantern's like 10, so those are the only cards you really need to spend the money on. So like that's $60 right there, and then everything else is common and rare. Yeah, yeah. Inzectors, you will spend literally like $60 on this deck and you're done. That's really all you need. Karakuris are budget now because of the reprint of Bure, and Burrito's only like $2. So yeah, and Gigant's now reprinted, so Beast and Barkion will probably be the most expensive cards you have to buy, but then that's only like $20 investment. Agents, of course, always a good deck to build. Kind of slow for this format, so it's not really uh, advised to build it. Gladiator Beasts, uh, good deck. It's always a good deck to play if you really know how to play it. It is kind of a thought-intensive deck. I'm not gonna say skill intensive. Skill intensive. It just takes a lot of thought. Really good deck still, with bears being reprinted, and it's cheap now. Uh, Dino Rabbit, it's not dead. It is not dead. This deck is not dead. You can main the Banisher Radiance and set the ridiculous amount of back row this deck can set still, and still make your Logias and Dolkas slowly, but you can make them. Wind Up Rabbits, Wind Ups, I'm sorry, not Wind Up Rabbit, Wind Ups, still a good deck. You'll spend about $100 on this deck, because you do need an Invoker, so I think 100 is the most. Um, Evil Swords are dirt cheap. I think the most expensive card in the deck are Lances and Serratos. Serratos are like 5 a piece, but I don't know how much Lances are. And other than that, the deck is super cheap. It's a really good deck too. It is kind of a combo deck, so you gotta have to really practice with it. Fossil Dyna Anti-Meta Stun deck. I've seen this deck before. It's really good. It's really cheap because Fossil Dyna is dirt cheap, and the anti-meta stuff is cheap. Rock Stun is incredibly cheap. The most expensive card in the deck, again, like I said, is Lances. Lances might be like $5 or something like that, but this deck is really cheap and it's really, really sacky, especially with Catapult Zone. So yeah, Black Wings are another deck. You can literally run 3 of the level 6, 1 of the Silver Ascendant, 2 of the level 7, um, and that's really all you need for extra deck, and then maybe some Exceeds. This deck really doesn't need very much of an extra deck. It just needs the Blackwing Synchros and some others, and maybe some staple synchros. But if you're one of those people who already have all the staples, this deck is really cheap to build. TG Stun is a very good deck, a very cheap deck. The main deck is incredibly cheap. Like I said, the most expensive card in the main deck is Lance, sadly. So yeah, um, battling boxers. Battling boxers are surprisingly they're surprisingly annoying for what they are. They got a lot of crap for being really bad, but they're very, very good at doing one thing and making lead yoke, and lead yoke is the single most annoying exceed in the game currently. Hunters, because Thunder Seahorse got reprinted, so they're super cheap. Yeah. Light Sworns, they're cheap. Not really much to say about them. They're cheap. Everything's common. These decks right here are structure decks. They're just kind of like, I wouldn't say scrubby because I played 2 of them, 3 of them actually. So they're just kind of really like cookie cutter. But I don't mind cookie cutter. I actually promote it because it gives a chance for people to build a deck that looks cool. Chaos Dragons, Dark Worlds, Six Hams, and Fire Kings all are very, very good decks. I think the deck you have the better chance with is this deck. I did forget one deck, and it is Maiden. Maiden is very cheap, even if it's the bad version of Maiden, which still wins games. My last deck is a short video. My last deck is Electrum OTK FTK. This deck is cheap. This deck is dirt cheap. He comes common. Everything in the deck is a common, or it comes common. Even Super Poly comes common. Miracle Fusion comes common. The most expensive card you buy is Nova Master. He's it. That is it. This deck is cheap. You can spend like $50, not even that on the deck, and it is done. And it's very good. Once you activate Chain Material and then activate Fusion Gate, it's game. They can't stop it. That's how ridiculous this loop is. You can't stop this loop. So that's it for the video. Comment, like, subscribe. Shout out to Team Capricorp as always. And I will be doing a dual video with the Heraldic Beast that I just did a deck profile on a little bit ago. So goodbye.